What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another movie review. I'm Chase Lee, and the movie I want to take a look at right now is The Farewell. Now, this one comes from A24 and is written and directed by Lulu Wang, and this one stars Awkwafina. Yes, that Awkwafina from Crazy Rich Asians, and she stars as Billy, and her family live in the United States, and her dad gets a call from his aunt, his mother's sister, and she says, "Hey, your mother's got stage 4 cancer. She's not going to last long. Just letting you know." And so this really kind of puts him into, like a downward spiral a little bit. He's like, "Well, we gotta go see her." And so, going from the U.S. to China is not a cheap flight, and so they spend a lot of money to go over there, rightfully so. It's one of their family members getting sick, but they what they do is they stage a wedding for Billy's cousin, and that's how they bring everyone together from all over the world to go to this wedding, so they could basically be around her grandmother, before she passes, and just spend as much time with her as possible before that day eventually comes. And we've all been there. It's not fun, but spending as much time as you can with a loved one before they go is very important, and that's what they do here. They just do it in a very funny way. And so, going into this, I heard a lot about this movie from Sundance. This is where I heard the most pop from, and I was like, oh wow, The Farewell, Awkwafina, drama. What is this? I have to see this pronto. So, from Sundance until now, which is like 7 months, I've been hearing nothing but great things. And I saw the trailer to it, and I was like, this looks like a really great movie. Like, just a solid, straightforward, good movie. So I walked out of the movie, and I hate A24. Because every time when I see a good movie, I have to reorganize my top 10 list yet again. It just gets a little annoying, For first world problems, indeed. Do not feel sorry for me. No, this is a wonderful film. It is absolutely touching. It's heartbreaking. It's funny. It's poignant. It's a really well balanced movie, and it's so straightforward, so simple. It's bare bones type of filmmaking, but it resonates with not only like me, but I think it'll resonate with like everyone else that watches this movie. It's a wholesome movie that everyone can go enjoy and everyone can appreciate. With that being said, it is A24's first ever PG rated film. I know, kind of weird, right? If you saw Midsommar, like that's borderline NC-17, and it's just really funny to go from that one to this one. And this one is a film that everyone can enjoy, which is fantastic. I love movies like that that are just pure crowd pleasers that everyone can kind of grasp onto. And so, what I really appreciate about Lulu Wang's kind of writing and directing is that she doesn't have to make a flashy movie. She doesn't have to make something and hold our attention for every 3 seconds with like an explosion or like a fast cut or anything absurd like that. It is such a straightforward story, and it's really just down to its simplicity that makes it so beautiful. You have a film that opens up with Billy and her parents. They hear about the news, and then they're immediately in China. And from that point on, all we do is just see the interactions between each family member, and then the movie ends. It is it's probably the simplest movie I've seen all year. But the reason why it resonates so well is because she knows that it's a simple story, and you have to elevate it with great writing and great characters. So to start with the writing is sharp. It's on point, and the comedy works. You never would think a movie about death there would be as much comedy as there is, but listen, there's a lot of goofy families out there, and I appreciate that this family has enough personality to where even in its darkest times in this movie, people can still be a little lighter in the next scene and just enjoy each other's company, and that's where the comedy comes from. It feels very realistic. It doesn't even feel like I'm watching actors. It feels like I'm watching this real family go through this real struggle, and Awkwafina's, kind of sharp comedic timing does work in some scenes because once again, it shows that she has personality and the whole family has personality as well, that they're able to kind of bounce off of her improv and her jokes, and everyone else is, might crack a joke or whatever. It's just it felt so natural and so organic. And then while it is got a lot of heart and a lot of humor to it, it does have a lot of somberness. It does have a lot of subtlety and a lot of nuance in its storytelling, its character development, and acting. With its characters, this isn't a movie that feels like it was made under a Hollywood microscope, where we have to write every single character, crying in hysteria because their grandmother is going. What Lulu does fantastically and balances so well is that she captures what it is like in the final moments of someone that's about to pass. Everyone in this movie breaks down at different moments. No one breaks down at the same moment. And that's what I love about it. At first, Billy is kind of hesitant to go because her grandmother's about to die, but as the movie kind of keeps going, she has her moments where she breaks. Her cousin has his moment when he breaks at the most unfortunate situation, which can apply to the comedy area. Her dad has a nice moment. Her uncle has a nice moment. And aunts and cousins, it's just everyone has their moment to shine, and they're all kind of coping with it, and they're at their own speed. And that's what I found, once again, very realistic about it, very very grounded, and just kind of honest to how humans react to this stuff. And just once again, there's nuance to the way they are written. The times that they kind of break down are unexpected. I don't really know how the movie is going to kind of treat these characters, how they're going to kind of weave in out of their emotions, and that's what is kind of so beautiful about it, is because everyone's human in this movie. Everyone feels like a real human, just kind of coping with this thing in different ways, and I really love the kind of grieving process that each of these family members kind of go through. And on top of all that, their connection is wonderful. Once again, it feels like a real family. Uncles, aunts, cousins, the parents, the grandparents, siblings. It's just like everyone was bouncing off of each other so well. That once again goes back to Lulu Wang's direction. And what I was saying with the writing is that it's balance. It's all about balance, ping-ponging back and forth, showing what she needs to show. I don't know what that was. Showing what she needs to show, and doing it in such a meaningful manner. Nothing ever feels wasted. This is such an airtight movie, and it is well edited. For its hour and a half runtime, it's a short movie, but short, sweet, and to the point. And that is the best way to describe it. Going to the nuance of the acting, it's really funny. When I saw last year Awkwafina and Crazy Rich Asians, I was like, all right, she's got some Melissa McCarthy vibes. She's an interesting supporting character, and she's got so much personality. It's so bubbly and inviting. She's the type of person that you want to go hang out with, have a drink with, and discuss life with. She does a complete 180 in this movie, and I absolutely love it. Her subtlety and her emotional stakes in this movie are so high that she picks the right moments to explode her character with, where she's talking with her mom and she's had enough, and she has to yell at her, or one scene where she's talking in English to one of the doctors in the hospital, and her grandmother can't hear her, but you can tell that her eyes are tearing up because she's hearing the news in an honest way, because the doctor's keeping everything hidden from her. I didn't look into it. I don't know if that's a cultural thing in China, where if people are dying, if they are struck with an illness and they only have a few months to live or something, I don't know if it is culture to keep them in the dark like that and just let them die peacefully. I'm not opposed to it. I think that's fantastic, and it kind of keeps them less paranoid and just kind of lets them go peacefully, I guess. I see no issue with it. But if that's a cultural thing, please let me know down below. But yeah, it's just they keep up this lie, pretty well, and it just it takes a lot of toll on these actors and these actresses, and everyone is so somber and so kind of beautiful and poetic with their performances. I really enjoyed it. And Awkwafina is fantastic. Everything you've heard about her in this movie is very warranted. She is outstanding. Um, a couple things, and I'll go ahead and wrap this up. The second thing is, speaking of the cultural thing, um, it doesn't matter if you're from China, if you're from Japan, Taiwan, any Asian territory, any European territory, American territory, whatever. Everyone can enjoy this. You don't have to be Chinese to enjoy this film. This is a film about family. It's about love. It's about compassion. It's about the grieving process. It is, once again, a human thing. Everyone that is a human being can enjoy this movie. It is a universally made movie. That's what I love about it. Everyone can watch this movie and be like, I've been there. I've done that. So yeah, I mean, I had a grandmother that passed last year. And so I kind of did everything that was done in this movie. Like, I lied to myself about it. I'm sure everyone else lied to themselves about it. And, when the day came, it hit you. Or maybe it hit you a day later, or a day or two later. It's just, it's interesting how people cope with it. And just watching this movie brought a lot of those memories back. And it's death is it's inevitable, but it's an interesting process. That's all I'll say. And the last thing I want to say before I wrap this up is that Lulu Wang, while making a simplistic story, did not skimp on the visual aesthetic of the film. The one thing I really appreciate about the cinematography is not only is it clean, it's it's clear, it's just really nice cinematography. Excuse me. She plays with the framing a little bit. If you are making a movie, typically if you have a shot like this, you want to have about that much headroom between your head and the top of the frame. If you want to make the shot interesting, you can have them over here in like the third, right there, or excuse me, right there. Like there's a third, and there's a third. You can have their faces right there. You could have extreme close-ups and see like their face. There's many ways you can frame a scene, and she could have easily made this visually boring. But what I love about it, it's just subtle things like this. Small little things matter, folks. She has most of her characters like this, where like the top of their head is hitting the halfway point in the frame. And so it's mainly just like their head and like a little bit of their chest area in the bottom half of the frame. And so I was thinking to myself, like, why is she doing this? And I came up to the conclusion that I think she did it this way because the situation that this family is going through with, the grandmother experiencing this and them experiencing the grief and the inevitability of her death, is that the situation weighs on them. So if the situation's weighing on them, it's just kind of like pushing them down a little bit, and like their bodies are sinking with it. And that's how I interpret it. It could be something completely different. She could be like, I just did it because it looked good, which it does. It adds a little bit of uniqueness to the film. But that's what I got of it, is that the situation is weighing on them so much that it's actually pushing them down in the frame. Once again, just adding a nice little extra layer to the film. Guys, this is a wonderful film. It's an honest film about family and about death. It's a funny film. It's wholeheartedly just fantastic. I have nothing bad to say about this movie. It is a straightforward movie. It's airtight. Everything about it works for me. I love The Farewell quite a bit. I know my fiance did too. So I'm going to give The Farewell an A. It deserves an A. I have no issues with it. It's going to make the top 10 eventually. I just need to figure out that list. But thank you, A24, for 3 great ones in a row. You can stop now because this is getting ridiculous. No, keep coming. Yeah, so if you've seen The Farewell, please comment down below and let me know. But until that, let me know anything else down below. And that will do it for this review, guys. I'm Chase Lee, and tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.